Top of the morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening, depending on when you will be watching this session. Welcome to Opinion Poll with Ignited Ayo. And as you can see, I'm with the ladies of Opinion Poll. As you all know, today is May 27, the Children's Day. And today, again, we will be having conversation around Children's Day. But it seems like they're always being biased about this Children's Day. So today, we want to make it personal. Abi, we were once children. Abi, ladies.
Yes,
we were once children
we
now.
are still children.
We are still children. We still have parents.
Yes.
We still have parents who are, watching out for us and doing all of those things. So as you can see, I'm with the ladies of Opinion Poll. So first off, how are you doing today? Let me start with Remzi Girl.
I'm fine. Though in the morning I was not fine because my phone went blank, went off. I couldn't even do anything on it. But later I think it came to its right sense. Later I just saw it came on again. I said, thank God. I thought I was going to spend money at the engineer's place before.
Oh my God. And repairing phone now is very expensive. My phone, when my phone went blank like that, I had wanted to get a new one. But when I got to where they were selling for, I was there, 6 figures. I was like, the Lord is my muzzle. I just had to, even the repairing is more like you want to buy a new phone. It is money you can just pack up and use it to get a new phone. So over to you, Yopi Girl. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm good. You know that yesterday we celebrated children anniversary in my church yesterday, and that feeling is when those children that they put in charge of you did very well. I'm so excited.
As a proud teacher,
even though you did not invite us, even though she didn't invite us, no problem.
Where's our rice? We are children too.
Now, don't worry. Your packaging is on the
No, packaging should be after this show. Packaging should be after this show.
Don't worry, just keep calm.
All right, I'm calm. My heart
we
is
are
down.
keeping calm.
It reminded me, yesterday too was Children's Day at my church. I was surprised. At some point, I thought that I would go to the teenagers' church because they are always coming to me. Auntie Ayo, when will you come to our church? They will come and ask me questions. I was like, okay, don't worry, I'll come and greet you. So I concluded in my heart that I won't do service at the main church, that I will go to the teenagers' church. But it's so unfortunate that they took the whole program from the beginning to the end. At a workers' meeting like this, my pastor was like, all you adults, go to the gallery. Children owns the church today. So we went to the gallery and we were just watching, as in those children did very well, and I was super proud of them. And for today, I've been feeling somehow today. That's the truth. I've been feeling somehow since today. I woke up burdened, like seriously burdened. And whenever I'm feeling that way, I know something is up. Maybe something is going to happen, or something has happened already, which I'm not aware of, and I try to talk myself out of it, but I've been feeling somehow. But after the morning devotion today, today's morning devotion was powerful. It was, after the morning devotion, I felt lightweight, and I just trust God for everything for a positive answer and all of that. So this is it for us. So before we go into the show, let's go on a quick break, and when we get back, we will be sharing our Children's Day experience with you. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. So as you all can see, the ladies of Opinion Poll is with me, and I started off with we are children too, and we cannot just forget about the fact that we were once children.
Yes.
And we see a lot of things happening. You see children are going out. If you go to parks now, you see children there because there's public holiday in Lagos. Yes. In some schools, you see children. You see some schools that even have schools. They are having something with their children. But I don't know what they do. I know May 27 is like every other day for me while growing up. So I would like that. Let me start with Remzi Girl. I'd like that you share your Children's Day. How was Children's Day for you while you were growing up? Was it significant? All this paparazzi that I seen flying about, how was it for you?
Children's Day for me then, it's not that significant. In fact, I was surprised. I think I was discussing with you today or last week that this is my first time of seeing them having a public holiday.
Exactly, I was
for
surprised
Children's Day. the thing there is they'll go to school and then celebrate. Like my first daughter in their school, they were asked to come. Just like parents make donations, so and they share, have a party among them. It's just the remaining two that didn't go to school. So it was a surprise to me that Children's Day again, public holiday. Because during my time there was nothing like even that, we don't even usually celebrate it unless it happens on weekends and the parents decide to. Even what's even my parents' concern with taking child out for Children's Day? Unless we are pestering them to do this, we are pressurizing them. My dad can now say, or even my mom can now say, okay, yeah, we should go and buy drinks. That we are going out and go and do.
The Lord is your strength. So over to you, your girl. How was Children's Day for you while growing up?
Just as she said, Children's Day is not like something that is special. Then I don't even, when I'm growing up as a child, I don't even think I have anything to do with that kind of Children's Day or stuff, because it's just like any other day, just like you said earlier. So there is no specific date or any paparazzi during my own time, not until maybe Christmas or when I was in secondary school. Then that is when I know, okay, there is some particular date that was. Do you understand? Because growing up in primary school, there is nothing like that knowledge in order for you to. They might be saying there's Children's Day in your school, but you know, we don't take it as something that is special, just like we are doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. That was it for me too. You see, I was all through primary school. That was my business with Children's Day. All through secondary school, even my birthdays, I don't celebrate them. All through my primary and secondary school, until even as an adult, I've never thought about it. So Children's Day celebration for me while growing up, it wasn't a thing. I don't even know they do anything on May 27, other than the fact that we just hear that, but we hear it. But we don't take it into cognizance like that it is an important day. They have to take me out. Unlike these children that, they're even buying Children's Day clothes, Children's Day. I know churches that pick yesterday.
Wow, actually, yes. Okay, yes, it's true. Some churches too. Yes. I saw the kids, they're having the same kind of Ankara uniform.
Even in school now, they will ask your children to bring something, other children to bring.
Even in your church, I think there was the time you guys had this kind of
yes. So when I was a child, there's nothing like that. Going to school, bring things and share it among yourself.
I think then sometimes NTA or Lagos television, it's like they used to organize party. I can remember then, but it's on TV that you used to watch it.
There's nothing like that in school during that time.
TV they organize.
But then you see, this conversation is making me to see that children of parents of these days, they are beginning to give their children what our own parents could not give us.
What they were not able to give us.
Millennial self is still very far. Parents from 1980, 1970, 1960, they don't take, their own concern is just eat, get filled, go to school, come back, eat again.
Just make sure you're
satisfied. Food is the only thing. But I don't want it to be like, we've been celebrating children since the beginning of this month, in anticipation for the children, and today is Children's Day. But I want to hear your thoughts. How was childhood for you? Unlike children of now, I want chocolate. Take out chocolate. Me, if you cry, you receive beating. If you dare to talk, you're in trouble. But children of nowadays, they are just flangering. But I want to hear how your childhood was. Was it enjoyable, or are there things that you would have loved to change now that you're an adult?
You see, in that aspect, like you said, then if you ask for biscuits, we
only eat biscuits during big events, maybe Christmas, New Year, Salah, and all those things.
Well, I'll say my own differs, because then my mom was selling food, and they have this kind of a day money. So whatever we want, she gives us. I was discussing with my husband, was it not last week or 2 weeks ago, that I can't even remember asking my parents for anything then, and they were unable to give me. So they kind of make us, maybe because of their own experience with their parents, so they kind of give us whatever we wish for, unless they don't have, and they make it known to us that they don't have. So they provide whatever we want. Even though my mom might be the strict parent, eating anything on her head, but she's that kind of mother that makes sure our children are satisfied with whatever she gives them, and she kind of makes sure she satisfies us too, unless she doesn't have. She's selling food in a very busy place, so she has that money. Even my dad too, unless he doesn't have, once we ask him, he provides for us. So they are those kind of friends that make sure they provide for us.
Wow, that's a good one. So over to you, Yopi girl. How was childhood like?
Childhood. Like growing up as a child, right?
Is it growing up as an adult before?
I don't understand.
So, in terms of childhood, when we are saying childhood, this is the sweetest and the most beautiful moments when you are growing up, whereby you will mingle with different people, playing, do all sorts of things as a child. So, from my own side, I think that my childhood was very interesting. When God gave you a loving father and a loving mother, and you have siblings that you both love yourself and carry yourself along, so that feelings was there. Like my dad, my own father personally, he is someone that's love his children to the extent that he can do anything. Even if someone around you mess up with his or her children around him, he will be like, he will stand tall and tell the person, I don't play with my children. And in terms of buying something, during my own time, because I grew up in the village, so my parents stays in Ondo State. While we are from Ogbomoso, but my parents stays in Ondo State. That is where we live there. So I can remember then, every morning like this, there is one person that used to sell soya milk there around that vicinity. Even before we wake up, my father will bought that milk for us before we wake up to drink first and foremost for everything. And also, if someone just was going, those people that used to sell buns, everything there, they are going around, he will buy for us to eat. That love was there. And another thing I can say then is this, as a child, me and my younger sister, we love eating with our father. See, that mother of eating is another thing. That our father,
and girls and their dads now.
I used to be like that.
There is no more thing just because of the meat. Because my dad will give you big
confession time.
And another thing, when we are eating, in terms of eating, there is something my father honor most. Table manner. You don't talk, you don't laugh, you don't do any gesture when you are eating. It's my own father.
Concentration.
See, the thing will be beside him. If you even laugh, he's ready to flog you. That is for him. But when you are done eating, even if me and my younger sister want to communicate in terms of it, maybe we can just take an instant, we won't go and use ourselves. If they lie, maybe in terms of that eating, so that is it. The love is there, and I can say it's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Like you guys have really interesting views. At some point, I'm feeling a bit moody because that wasn't my own. That wasn't my own childhood
part
experience.
Part of what contributes to my she grew up in the village. We grew up in the show, the center of attraction.
Where everybody knows.
Center of attraction.
For me, childhood wasn't that fun for me because I grew up with my mom. And the only time I spent with my dad was when we were still very young. Like, because my parents separated in 2005. And, the experience was when I was still in primary school. I was very close with my dad. Very close. Then, my second name is Omodadi. My dad may not give anybody money. He will make sure even after separation. So, even after separation, I was still a bit close to him. But what led to the total separation is the fact that I have never imagined in my life that my parents would be separated. So it distorted my own childhood that, so I'll be living with one, imagine going to the court as a child and they are asking you that who do you want to live with when they wanted to take our custody. And, it was difficult for me to process it as a child that, my parents will be separating. How am I going to survive? Then I was still very young, but that was what was in my head. And I could remember I was crying my mom. I want to go to my mom. I want to stay with my mom because the experience, I watched how my dad remarried, he mistreated my mom, he didn't take care of us, and all of those things. It just brought me to the fact that there's a way love can easily switch to hatred. 1 minute you love somebody, and the next minute the love just disappeared, and you just hate them. But then I would like to speak from your own experience, that because one thing that stood out for me is the fact that you had parents who who went out of their way for you. You know, you had parents who could, you know, whatever you need, like for on your own part now, because they had an experience with their parents and they don't want it to be like that. They went out of their way. And also for you said your dad will buy soya milk. You know, I'm just imagining that I had that experience, really. But I want you to speak from your perspective. You see, we have parents now that the only thing they do for their children is to they spend the money, but they don't give them that time.
Okay, that's true.
They don't give them the time. They feel like all that their children need is money. How about me? I want a phone. They buy the phone. Me, I didn't use phone until I was in JSS 3. Even that JSS 3 was because my mom was traveling to Ghana and she needed to communicate with me because I was one holding the fort for her. I was at the shop. My mom's shop was at Jacondi. Then she owns a very big supermarket. So I was doing, as small as I would leave the school. I was doing everything. You know, when you see me then, you're like, this one is business woman. I thought I would do business. They say, I thought I would do business, but then everything just changed. So I want you to, why do you think parents of nowadays, they hardly give their children that attention? They spend the money, or they pay the school fees, they buy the gadgets, they do all these things, but they don't give their children that time, that mommy and daughter time, that daddy and children time. You know, they hardly give that time. Why do you think it is so now?
You know, like we mostly say on our shows, on most of the shows that we've been doing so far, the thing is, they believe the world is evolving and they want to evolve with the world, but it's really damaging a lot of things. Okay, your child is asking for phone. A child in JS1 is asking for phone. Why? What you just do in that aspect is to provide a phone that you as a parent can control. A phone that you know that there won't be any other activities apart from school activities, or maybe them watching cartoons for the younger ones. But you see, parents of nowadays, even me, I'm among the parents of nowadays. Yeah, we are all among the parents of nowadays, but the way we try to bring up our children is what differs from others. So whatever we are trying to do with our children, we should try to take caution. Like we that are working 8 to 6 work, there's no how our children cannot be with us 8 to 6.
But still, you still have time for them.
Yes, because you see Sundays, I don't, except it's very important, I don't really like them going out. So I prefer we are together with their dad. But most parents, they'll be like, no, this boy is disturbing me. Go and take him. Where are you taking him? Just take him. Let him go to his grandma. Let him. But that there should be, even during the week, if there's no time, there should be a day set aside for them. From there, you'll be able to bond with them. That hello, what did you do in school last week? Who beat you? Did your teacher do anything? At least be able to bond with them. From there, you get to hear their experiences and know what is going on in our lives. But most parents, I can't really state the reason for. Okay, maybe like I said, the world is evolving, because some parents believe that during my time I lacked this, I lacked that, I suffered, and the parents make you lack some things because you were not eligible to do it. They are thinking they are depriving you of those things. So because of what they did to you, you now want to like pay back to your children that no, I'll buy. Okay, let's say for example, I have a friend that's trying to get a phone for a child that is in JS1. I'm not telling this child is too small to get a phone. You say, no, when I was in JS1, I told my parents to get me phone. They didn't. I'll buy for him or her. Let him. So because of that doesn't mean you need to pamper or indulge your children in a way that will make them go astray. You need to think deeply. You see these children, they are manipulators. You need to think deeply before you kind of take some steps on them.
All right, so let me go to your P girl. Why do you think, you mentioned a valid point. Parents of nowadays, they are giving their children the thing they could not afford. When they were growing up, mommy, I want this. Their parent did not. So they give their children those things that they couldn't get. That's why you see that parents, most of those parents, they make sure their children become what they could not become when they were younger. But I would like to hear your thoughts, your opinion. Why do you think it is so? Do you think it is really going to mold these children to become all that they can be? Do you think these children will not grow up one day and feel like they just get everything at their beck and call? I need this, they get it. I need that, they get it. Do you think it is not going to mold these children to become, to become self-reliant, that they don't have to struggle to get anything? They can't be getting everything on the platter of gold. Yes. They can't.
So their parents will not always be there.
Exactly. So what do you think will become of such children that have access to all of these things because their parents are making it available?
From my own side, it depends on how the parents train their children on. From the parent side, if you think you can buy anything that they want for them, there is nothing bad in it, and it depends on the child also. When they said they can buy this thing for you, that does not mean that you will not be able, you can't do it on your own. As a matter of fact, if your parents can buy anything that you want from you for you, does not mean that you have to put all your hope in them. And you said something the other time that way some parents may be having time for their children in order to monitor them, stuff like that. Some parents, you have some parents that everything about them is like money. And this, like, money is not everything. Some people believe that money is everything. Money is not everything. Our time, the time we share with our children also is very, very important. So that we know what they are doing. There are some children around us that they are doing what they're supposed to do. And we parents, we don't know. Not until maybe someone told you or you hear about it, you'll be like, my daughter, my son is doing such a thing. So they need most of our time. Money is not everything. Buying everything for them is not what they want sometimes. You need to caution them. You need to let them know how life was. Even when your parents cannot have something for you, does not mean that you can't do it for your own children. Some people will be like, during my own time, my mom, my dad didn't buy anything for me, so don't stress me. That does not mean that is your own time. Your own time is different from their own time. Exactly. Let them have the access to what you think. If you think you can give it to them, there is no problem in it. But giving it to them does not mean that you let them feel like maybe they can do whatever that they want because they are still a child. So you need to caution them. Let them know what is right from what is wrong. Yeah, give them your time, the attention that they need. So,
yeah, my take is that, you see, a parent should not make their children become what they couldn't be when they were younger. And I feel like parents who make their children have access to anything they want to get, such parents are not helping the self-esteem of their children. Why am I saying that? Because these children, they feel like they can just get everything. Mommy, somebody beats me in school. You went to the school to fight the person. They feel like their mother or their father will always be there to fight for them.
Which is impossible.
Mommy, I need money. I want to buy this. You give them. So those children are growing up with the mindset that anything I want, I must get it instantly. And that's why you see such children, when those things don't happen, when they grow up and they want something and there's nobody to give them that thing immediately, they are in haste. Yes. They just want to have access to that thing. Like, Ajibi, my mom is here now. So we are not teaching children to be self-dependent. It's the parents who go and fight other children because their children got beaten. They are not teaching their children to learn to be self-dependent. You see such children, when they beat them, they know their mom will fight for them. So they will always be waiting. Hey, you beat me. My mom is coming to fight. My mom is coming to beat you. I remember there was a time that I was still very young. Somebody beat me and I cried. Oh, hey. My mom, after beating me, she said, "Oh yeah, go back, go and fight for yourself. Why will your age mates beat you and you are coming back to do all of those things?"
Fight for you.
So in fact, it got to a time that one girl put me in trouble. She almost put me in trouble in school. I beat her to stupor. That was the first time I would fight in school. After beating her to stupor, they asked me to go and bring my mom. I was like, you're the one that advised me to beat the girl. Now I fought back. Now you're still blaming me and all of that. So parents should learn to teach their children in such a way that they can be self-dependent, that they don't have to wait for their children. And again, another point I want to emphasize on is that when parents make available all that their children need, they are not molding those children to fight to get some things.
Yes.
Because they feel like mommy is there, daddy is there, mommy will always come through, daddy will always come through. So they don't feel the need. You see, especially children that their parents pay for them to get to a class. They don't feel the need to struggle to attain some things. They feel like, oh, money can always get me there. Money can always take me there. And also, before you know it, those children will end up only growing as a tenant, still under their parents' custody. And most parents, because they don't have the time for their children, like you said, they don't have a me time, they don't have conversations with their parents. You see that those children, they are going through some things that they can't even share with their parents, and that is even the worst. If my own perception of parenting is that I want to raise up children that they will first of all see me as a role model before they see any other person as a role model. Because me, growing up was terrible. I had a loving mom. I had a mother who was loving. My mom is a man and a woman together. I used to say that I give her that kudos every day, every time. She's a man and a woman all together, but there are still some lapses, and that lapses is what I want us to discuss. That with the way childhood was, I'm sure it is not always sweet.
Yes,
there are some things that you see that no, this thing, no, it can't continue to be. So what are those things that you noticed while you were growing up and you feel like, no, I'm going to change that perspective for myself? That's going to be our final take on this story. So let me start with you. What are those lapses that you saw and you want to change as a parent?
The main focus is not trying to force them to do things. Like when he's the one that said it, that there are some parents that because they are okay. Let me give for example. This your child, you want that child to be a doctor, but that child is not even going through that doctor way at all. Child that wants to go and learn fashion designing, you say, God forbid.
My dad said that too. I wanted to learn hairdressing. I wanted to learn hairdressing. She said it is prostitutes that learn hairdressing.
Especially if they are this kind of religious parents. No,
my dad was animal.
So I know what I'm saying. If they are this kind of religious parent, they won't allow you to do hairdressing. I have a cousin then too. When she wanted to get married, just because she was into hair making and everything, the mother-in-law said she doesn't want her for her son.
Just imagine.
Yes, she said that they are these prostitutes, all those stuff.
I don't understand the mentality of these people.
I'm even happy that she didn't get married to.
Thank God, they are lost.
Thank God, the kind of guy she later got married to now. It is still that hairdressing route that she used to go and join him in the UK.
Wow.
So you see the work of God. But that's why we
I beg, that is their loss.
That's why we say most things about ladies is once you are firm in your decision. I assume by then she was like, okay, ma, I will not do this hairdressing. Let me go and look for another one. What will happen to her? She will still be at the mercy of the mother-in-law, because I cannot see a reason why a mother-in-law would be dictate. You can dictate. Me, I used to say you can dictate for your son, but
dictating for your son's wife,
your son's spouses. She's coming from a different home, so before you guys will blend together, it will take a lot of time. So don't need to. So that aside, we should not try enforcing our own rules and regulations on the children. We should try to blend and come to a conclusion. Then my mom wanted my younger sister, not my immediate younger sister, our third born, to study nursing. In fact, till now, it's always a pain in her heart that none of our child is doing nursing. And the thing is, me, when I was in, I think, when we in GS2 or GS3, then I love maths. That I was like, okay, I'll be in the science class when we get to SS. So there was a day we did these calculations. I was the one that got the calculation right in the class. So there's this Igbo girl beside me. She was like, out of my own pure mind, I now told her how I solved it. So when we submitted, I think our own book was the first. That was we submitted already. So they now asked us to come and solve the equation. So she was the first person that stood up to solve it. So when she solved it, the man called another person to come and solve. I stood up. When I saw, the ginger that was given to the first person, it was not up to the second person. And the man was like, you saw the way she did it now. That was how. And you get
just imagine somebody I thought.
Hi,
somebody I thought. I had that experience in secondary school.
It really pained me. I think that was what killed my love for mathematics. Wow. So I later went to art class. Because since then, my love for mathematics just died down. So I was not like telling her, she wanted to impose that thing on me. I was like, me, I cannot do nurse, because how are we going to balance the equation? I'm in art class, and you want me to go and do nurse. So do you want to spoil my future?
Exactly.
So same thing, she wanted to impose it on my sister too. But we kind of stood up against her that she should leave us and let us do whatever we want. So that was how we were able to escape from her. I'm very sure if I do that nursing, it will just be a waste of time. I will not even do that. I will just be doing it because she wants me to, but I won't even enjoy it. So same thing. Some that's the same kind of experience some people too experience when they were younger. Like you said, it's not always rosy. There are some lapses too, and this kind of a beating my mom used to give me then. Any slight thing like this now beating. I said it the other time. Now she wants to use a plastic bowl on my head, and it broke on my head. As she is the loving parent, she is also the wicked parent on one side. So that makes us to love our father more. My mom really tried for us, but because of that, because they separated one time like that. Assuming that separation happened when we were small, we would have think my mom was the wicked, I was the most. But it was because I told my younger sister that time that our parents separated, it was because we were already. We've grown old, we've have sense that make us know what happened, so we didn't really blame any of the two parts. But as it was when we were younger, we would have blamed my mom because of the kind of. So I'll beat them, but not to the extent of using what are they calling this turning stick? Using not to the. My mom will use that on you. That's why I used to look at our last born that you are enjoying, You're enjoying life now, but
she's now calm.
And the most funniest thing, their version of a mother is different from a grandmother's version. Because the way they will be treating your children, you will be like, is this my mom?
Don't spoil my children, no. Don't come and spoil them, please.
So you'll be like, is this my mom? So I cannot train my children that we sit, we discuss. I'll warn you 2-3 times. If you cannot hear me, then my sons know me. When I stand up, leave there. If you don't answer, leave there. Where's that wire? He knows. He calm down. But even if he did not hear, I cannot go to the extent of bringing something that can wound. I have wound on my leg now. It was my mom. I think she used broom really also. So the broom entered my skin. And before, but I didn't let my dad know, because once he knows, now fire for fire.
Yeah, we gas. All right. Let me go to you, Pigil. What are those things that you would love to change when you become a parent? Those things that you saw that no, this is not how. I don't want to follow this pattern. So let's hear your experience.
Thank you. From my own side, as a parent, like, what I want to change from my own perspective is this. We have some parents whereby it's the mother that will be doing everything in the house. She will be the one that will go and, in terms of buying things for the children, everything. So from my own side, I'm sorry to say, that can never be possible. We are going to do it together. Let's join hands together and train up our child. I won't be the only one to be going up and down. We have some parents like that their mother is the mother that will be paying for the school fee, buying food, buying clothes, and the father will be there like figurehead, doing nothing, and you will still be eating. From my own side, I think that can never be possible. We are going to join hands together in order to train up the child, because when the child becomes something better tomorrow now,
we will enjoy it together.
So instead of that, let's work for it together, so that everything will work for all of us together. From my own side.
All right. Well, for me, I want to be a really sensitive parent, because I said earlier that my mom is a Mako woman. She's a man and a woman at the same time. Then my mom runs a supermarket at Jakonde in Lagos. Then, we have everything that we want at our disposal. Money, anything at all that we want, because my mom was like, no, this man said, sure, you have taken the children, you are going to suffer, you will go back to the village. So my mom was trying to prove a point that she won't go back to the village. And I give kudos to my mom. In this Lagos, she bought a land, built a house, has properties to her name. I love the fact that she walked to that point. But then my mom was not sensitive to our emotions. She just wanted to, have you eaten? Are you okay? Go to school. You must be excellent in school. You are not doing well. Let's get a lesson teacher and all of that. But she wasn't sensitive, because at some point when I was growing up, it feels like I was being overly sensitive. It feels like like when you're a woman Kora. It feels like I was hot tempered, but I was going through some things then that she couldn't believe it when she later knew about it. She couldn't believe her ears that, and I've not been paying attention. So she couldn't believe it. So for me, I want to be that really sensitive parent. When I have my children, and I've always told people that parenting comes with intentionality, and that is why I love teaching. Till date, I have children around me. I do programs for teenagers and children. I was still with some of them on Friday. We were talking, those children are really free with me, to the point that I could give advice that some of them could not even, some of their parents could not even give to them, because their parents are not paying that attention. So my experience as a child led me to become more passionate about children, about teenagers, because those children are going through a lot. Then you dare not tell your mom that I'm crushing on somebody. Crush. That crush will crush you. But I thank God that my relationship with my mom is now better. We talk in depth. There are days we cry on each other's arms. I'm so happy that we later got back that energy. But those energy were never there when I was a teenager. So for me, that is the change for me. I want to become a really sensitive parent to my children, that they can confide in me. They can tell me about a boy that is asking them out. They can tell me about those things that our parents used to be very
Yes.
I remember when I was in JSS3, and it was in JSS3 I started menstruating. One told me, now that you have started menstruating, any man that touch you, let the man touch you like this, you will get pregnant. Hi, ladies, you can't believe that one boy touched me. We're having inter-sport, so we're practicing. The boy said, this is how you do the parade. Hey, don't touch me. The second time, don't touch me. See, the third time, I just started crying. I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. People went to meet because I had a school mother. My mom put me in the care of my PhD teacher. My PhD teacher now called me. Kilo Shelley, why are you crying? What happened to you? The woman was just appealing to me. I was like, I'm pregnant. Pregnant. How come? How come you are pregnant? I said, my mom told me I've started seeing blood. I said, I started seeing blood. I don't understand. My mom told me now that I've started seeing blood, if any man touch and get pregnant, that woman first of all laugh. She spent she spent a lot of minutes to laugh. No, that's not true. It was the woman that now gave me sex education. She taught me what it means. Even as at then itself, I didn't understand. But the woman puts me through the processes, those things that my mom could not tell me. And another thing for me is that I want to be that parent that I can tell my children that your this is your this. Exactly. There's no your private part is your kinikon. There's those things that our parents, those things that our parents taught us, and on the long run we discover that no, our parent has been lying to us, and we discover the truth from outsiders. Big fat like I don't want my children to discover the truth from outsiders. I want to first be their role model, that they can see that our mom is a superwoman beyond providing money. I also want to provide that emotional support for my children. So that is it for me. So I would like to hear our final word so that we can wrap up the show. We spent a lot of time already. So let me start with Ramsey Girl. What would be your advice for children, whether for children or for parents? What would be your advice for any parents that you can talk to right now, any child that you can see right now, today being their day? What will you give? What advice will you give?
Yeah, for the parents, we should try to be a better parent, try to be the expressive parent, try to be the parents that that the children will always like to run to whenever they have problem. We should also try to be the parent that will provide, because we have some parents that they won't provide for their children, because they'll be like, during my own time, they do party for school, so I'm not giving you money for party. There's sometimes that we leave them, let them do their thing. We give them the right measures to follow. So as a parent, we should try and be the best parents that the children would, in fact, they will not even want to trade you
for anything. Yeah. So over to you, your pig girl. One last word.
So the parents outside there, I'm here to tell you that give them your time, the attention that they need from you. Let them know what is right from what is wrong. These children that we are seeing, they need more of attention, more of our time. Please and please. And for the children, always be a good child to your parents, because they used to say something. They said children are the future of tomorrow, leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders of tomorrow. So try as much as possible to be a better person in life.
All right. So my final word for our parents is that even if you are not married, even if you have not given birth, try as much as possible to be an intentional parent. Me, I am intentional about parenting, and where I start my own intentionality from is that I make sure that the children around me, they are properly trained. No, you cannot come and hug me. Hey, auntie, yo. I try as much as well. All the children around me, they dare not shout up NEPA. From ages back, when they bring that, you say, up NEPA. I've been hearing this thing for a very long time. Why should you still be following that route? So I make sure that I teach the children around me courtesy. They must learn proper way of doing things, that you don't eat on the road, you don't misbehave because you want to yawn, you just open your mouth, and I am intentional by teaching the children around me the right way to go about their lives, the right way to go about things. So I'm using them as a dress rehearsal. So if it is my child that offends me, what will I do to the child? So I first of all think about that thing. If it is my child that is behaving like this, will I be looking at him? So it is not easy for me to see children misbehaving and I just overlook. So be intentional. Even if you have not given birth to a child, you can use the children around you as your dress rehearsal. Don't say, she is not my child. After I'm not the one that gave birth to the child. Let me just go. That's your life. Continue. No, it is not your life. You have to use them as dress rehearsal for how you are going to treat your children. Because whether intentionally or unintentionally, the way you treat other children is the way you are going to treat your own children. So be intentional. And for parents, don't raise children as tenants. Raise children by mentorship. What do I mean by that? Raise children in such a way that your children will be able to tell you anything. It is not the time that you use stick on children. There was a time I was taking a child then when I was in education, when I was in the teaching sector. This guy wanted to beat her. She said, "Auntie, how many will you beat me?" Hey, I was shocked to the bone, like, "Auntie, how many will you beat me?" The girl was asking me that question. I discovered that whenever the child does any wrong thing, the first thing that comes to my mind is to beat her. So she was already used to the beating. So she was asking, "Auntie, how many will you beat me?" So I discovered that. So even if I finish beating her, she will not take correction. So I began to point them to the necessary correction. When they do anything, I can tell you things that will make you think about your life. It got to a point that my students, my below 13 years old, if I talk to them, they begin to cry. I don't beat them. They just begin to cry and they will be sober and they'll be like, I should not have done this. So when they do something wrong, they are already judging themselves that what will Messiah say if they have done this? And another thing is that I point them to the word of God. This is what God is saying about this. You see that I'm not the one you're offending. Who are you offending? They will by themselves say, I'm offending God. Then they will take to that correction. So as parents, train your children by mentorship. Talk to them, converse with them, talk to them, see them as your friends. Don't just say, these ones they're living with me. Don't say, let me just provide for you. Your food is the most important thing. No, food is not the most important thing. There are days that you soak Gary together in the house and you are just satisfied. There are days that there is no food to eat, but because they see you as friend, it is not, they can't go out and say, my mommy did not give us food. Why? Because there is a relationship. That's why they call it relationship between yourself and your children. That would be my final word. Or do you have any other thing you want to say to our viewers? All right. Thank you all so much for staying tuned with us till this time. Before we leave the studio, we'd like that you follow us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are Prime Media TV. On Instagram and TikTok, we are Prime Media Studios. On the website where you're currently watching us, we are enginespeak.com. And you can do also follow us on YouTube at Engine Speak. I am Ayo. We are the ladies of Opinion Poll. Until we come your way again, do have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wallahi,